Hey, what is up my chemistry people? It is Mr. Moylan, and today in this video we're going to express and manipulate chemical quantities using scientific conventions and mathematical procedures, including, and specifically in this video, dimensional analysis. Alright, we're going to break that down a little bit. First thing we're going to do is transform a statement of equality into a conversion factor. And then two, we're going to utilize conversion factors to perform single-step and multi-step calculations. Okay, so first thing first, what in the heck is a statement of equality? If we're going to be converting them into conversion factors, we should know what the heck they are. So a statement of equality just describes the relationship between two equivalent quantities expressed in different units. For example, there are 12 eggs in 1 dozen. Statement that puts two quantities, different units, equal to one another. Through its a metric system, there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Two equivalent quantities, 100 centimeters and 1 meter, are the same distance or the same length, but they're expressed in different units. A conversion factor then is just a ratio that is derived from that statement of equality that can be used to convert from one unit to another. So as we go back to this statement of equality that says there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, a conversion factor that we could create from that statement of equality would look like what you see on your screen there, a ratio 100 centimeters over 1 meter. Or we could write 1 meter over 100 centimeters. Two equivalent quantities expressed with different units. Now, it's important to note that conversion factor that looks just like a fraction is equal to 1, because the number on top and the number on the bottom, even though they're not the same number, they are equivalent amounts. And when you do conversions then, you aren't actually changing the amount, you're just changing the units that you're using to represent that amount. Okay, so let's come back to this example of there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Again, recognize that our conversion factor that was derived from that statement of equality is equal to 1. And just remember, you can invert that conversion factor, still equal to 1. So how do we use these conversion factors then to complete conversion calculations? In other words, how do we do dimensional analysis? You choose the conversion factor that will cancel the undesired units and leave desired units. So again, as we look at the relationship between centimeters and meters, and think about doing a conversion here that would convert 2 meters to number of centimeters. I'm always going to start with my known amount, in this case 2 meters. Now I'm going to multiply it by one of these conversion factors. And how I decide which one to use is dependent upon which one will get the undesired units to cancel out and leave me with my desired units. So if I choose the first conversion factor, notice that the unit of meters will cancel out. I'll have the unit of meters in the numerator, the unit of meters in the denominator, which will cancel those units out. And therefore, my answer here, 200 centimeters. Notice that 2 meters and 200 centimeters are the exact same amount. We've just converted the unit that we're using to represent that amount. Because remember, this conversion factor is essentially 1. So anything times 1 is itself, in this case, just in a different form. If you were to do it with the other conversion factor, notice what you would get. This time, we'll use 1 meter over 100 centimeters. In this case, I've got meters in the numerator twice, and centimeters in the denominator. So when I solve this conversion, I end up with 0.02 meters squared per centimeter. So this would be incorrect. Now, this is a concept that's going to come up the entire year and something we're going to practice very heavily in class. And we'll talk a lot about how we decide which unit goes where in the conversion factor. But your goal is to get the units that you do not want to cancel out and leave the unit that you do.